President Chin, we're ready to begin.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Today's Friday, February 5th, 2021. We are calling to order our special board meeting. And before we actually start, Trustee Corzo, would you mind doing a translation services announcement? Trustee Corzo, did you hear us?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear that. Yes, I'm here. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Can you do a translation services announcement, please?
Oh, yes, yes. Gracias a todos que están aquí. Si ocupan traducción, por favor, levanten la mano y también empujen un botón que hay de un mundo en su pantalla para recibir la traducción. Gracias.
Great, thank you for that. We'll move on to the next agenda item, which is our flag salute. So Dan, would you please put our flag up, our virtual flag, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right, thank you. We're going to move on to roll call. Trustee Corzo.
Here.
Trustee Proctor.
Here.
Trustee Warren.
Here.
And Trustee Watkins.
Here.
Thank you very much. And I'm here as well. We're all here. Next item is approval of the agenda. Does anyone want to make a motion to approve the very short agenda we have?
I move that we approve today's agenda, going over the RFP for our superintendent search.
And I second.
Thank you, Trustee Warren and Trustee Corzo. Roll call vote. Trustee Corzo?
Yes.
Trustee Proctor?
Yes.
Trustee Warren?
Yes.
And Trustee Watkins?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes as well. Okay, public statements. This is a special hearing. We are on item 5.1. Public statements related to this agenda item can be heard now. So if anyone would like to raise their hand, their virtual hand, we will bring you into the meeting for your 3 minutes of public comment. Diane, do you?
No, President Chin, there are no hands raised at this time.
Okay, fantastic. I'm going to close public comment on this item and we will roll right into the RFP discussion 6.1. So as you guys all know, per our last meeting, we created the ad hoc committee. Trustee Proctor and I worked on the request for proposal that is attached to the agenda. We have a sort of proposed deadline of next week for submittal. And what we are looking for from you guys, if any direction as to whether or not it's okay and whether we can go ahead and issue the RFP. And so if you guys have any questions or direction, we'll be happy to take those now.
Just out of curiosity, and I'm saying this because I honestly do have no idea how this would completely play out, but is a 1 week turnaround time enough time to generate like enough candidates that we could choose from?
Great answer.
I mean, I understand we need to move fast, but.
Yeah. Great question. We're sort of modeling after San Carlos's. They provided a week, which they were under a short time frame, just like us. Actually, in some ways, we're a couple weeks behind them. They did get 4 responses back.
Okay.
For the consultants that I had previously talked to, just to understand what their process is, they know that an RFP is coming. So I think then they did say that they can turn it around pretty quickly.
Okay.
There are 2 other, I got the contacts to 2 other applicants that San Carlos the two other respondents to the San Carlos RFP, I do have their contacts and we'll send it out as well. So
Okay.
I'm pretty confident that we will get probably at least 3 or 4.
Okay, great.
So
Wonderful. Thank you.
Do we have a, there's no, do we have a particular budget, or we'll be just waiting to see what we kind of get in?
What I've heard is that generally the cost for the search, executive search firms are between $20,000 and $25,000.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And I will say that there are, when we get the proposals, we'll see that they actually do have, somewhat add-ons, in case we want to publicize it in certain publications or do X, Y, and Z. They do have add-ons, but generally speaking, it's between 20 and 25. Does anybody have any other questions? I didn't feel it was appropriate for us to go through word by word or line by line.
Are we just doing questions or also giving feedback right now?
It's both, whatever you want. I think this is our time. You guys could ask questions or go whatever. Once we make the decision to issue the RFP, then we'd like to talk about next steps afterwards. So unless you want to talk about that now, but I felt that it would be sort of a 2-stage process.
Okay, so just in having reviewed it, I think the introduction is pretty basic. I am wondering though, let's see. I don't know if it's here or if it's in the scope of work, but I think it's important to highlight how diverse our school district is, and maybe some of the language needs. I think it's important, if we want like a robust community engagement process, then I think we're gonna need, the consultant doesn't have to be bilingual, but they need to have someone on their staff or someone on their team that is, and that can hold that piece.
If I can respond, Trustee Proctor and I did talk about this. We made sure that the introduction did sort of illustrate our diverse community. And then in the scope of work under number 5, the actual last sentence in number 5 is, and this talks about sort of the community outreach process or plan. It says, furthermore, the community outreach plan must include input from our ethnically diverse community, which may require translation services. And so we definitely wanted to make sure that those who have not normally, spoken up, that there's an avenue there and there is some sort of process. And I think that by calling out just in the scope of work just signifies to the consultants that that is going to be an issue and or something that we are going to look forward to or for. But when we actually go through and talk individually with whoever we select, we can further develop that plan to make sure that they talk to the right people or publicize it in the right way.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. I think like, so I did read that, but I think what stood out to me is that even when you have, translation, there are times where, translation is not the same as like simultaneous translation or giving or having a community outreach primarily in a different language first, because things do get lost in translation. But I think that, I think this is fine as long as, we can ask these more like pointed questions, once we have applicants. So thank you for having that in mind already. And yes.
Great. There's definitely, I will definitely say this is sort of like the framework. In the most scope of works, you try and put in as much as you can, but generally once we actually hire them, we kind of work out the details. But
sounds good.
Yeah, I had the chance to review it as well and don't have any additional feedback. So thank you to the two of you for putting it together. And I don't know if this needs a vote or if we're just, yeah, okay. So,
Yeah, it actually needs a motion and a vote for us to issue the RFP. So,
okay.
if
So
you
I
guys
don't know
feel
if
comfortable.
anybody else has any other comments. Otherwise, I'm happy to make a motion to approve the request for proposal for the executive search firm.
Great, we have a motion. Anyone want a second?
I second.
Great, thank you, Trustee Watkins and Trustee Corzo for the motion and the second. Roll call vote, Trustee Corzo,
Yes.
Trustee Proctor,
Yes.
Trustee Warren,
Yes.
and Trustee Watkins.
Yes.
And I will vote yes as well. Great, so we will work with our district staff to make sure it's posted. I will also send it directly to the contacts that I have already made and that they are well aware of that there's going to be an RFP coming. So the question that Trustee Proctor and I have is sort of next steps. We will go
One
ahead
quick
and issue.
question, Ken,
Go ahead.
before you
Yeah.
go on next steps. Is
Yep.
one of those firms the one that's working with San Carlos?
One that, yes, I do have a contact for them. Yes.
I just asked, I would love for them to be in the pipeline because I know Nicole Anderson is working with them and they're working on the equity piece. And so I think that that would be, you know, potentially great through line in terms of the work that we're doing. So just want to make sure that they're on the list. Thank you.
Yes, no, absolutely. There will be something for us to further talk about. Nicole Anderson is a subcontractor for us, a sub-consultant. So it's that I don't necessarily know whether or not that would be a conflict at this moment. So as we get into it, but we can find out. So per our last meeting, there's sort of, we're trying to sort of keep this rolling. And the question is, as the application, the request for proposals or the respondents come in, the proposals, how are we going to treat this? So there's a spectrum. The shortest way and sort of what San Carlos did, and I'll explain, there's several ways in between. But San Carlos basically had their ad hoc committee, the two representatives, review every single proposal and interview them, and then brought back the recommended consultant to the board for contract execution and the hiring. That was very fast. The other side of the spectrum also is basically once we receive all of the applications, actually, and everybody will see all the proposals. Once we get it, we'll distribute that all out to everybody. The other side of the spectrum is we receive all the proposals, everybody takes a look at it, and we all interview the consultants together in an open forum, just like we have right now. What I've heard is that each interview of each consultant would generally take about an hour. So depending on how many we get and how many we want to interview, we should allot about an hour. So there's basically their full board involvement, or there's just the ad hoc committee. Now, in between them, there's a number of different ways we can do it. And Trustee Proctor and I sort of hashed out earlier today, is that, you know, you guys could provide us questions. We can all look at them. You guys could, oh gosh, I'm sort of blanking. It's basically, we can kind of go anywhere we want. Sorry, Trustee Proctor, I don't know if you had any input, you want to save me on my.
Yeah, I think we talked about potentially just circulating the proposals that come back and then meeting again to maybe talk about specific questions people want asked, or if we wanted to narrow anything down right then and there, or how we wanted to proceed, but to maybe leave it open until we receive back the proposals.
Yeah, so I guess the basic question is how would you guys like us to proceed? Sorry, I don't have it sort of written down. There's just a number of different options. And so the question is, if you guys want to be fully involved, we can do that. If you want to just provide questions and direction, we can do that. We can also meet again once we have all the proposals in and then talk about it. And basically we'd have another short meeting like this sometime in a week and a half. We could totally do that too. So it's completely up to you guys. Sorry, Trustee Corzo?
Sorry, I was saying that last idea, that the last option that you had, I think I like that idea.
Okay, that works. I mean,
Sorry, I missed the last one. Can you
so
repeat it?
last one is basically as all the proposals come in next Friday, we'll obviously distribute all the proposals, and then we could have another short meeting to basically discuss what the next steps are, and we can do that as well.
Yeah, I think that's a possibility. I was wondering if we could, I don't know what our next board meeting looks like and if it's going to be a lengthy one or not, but I was also wondering if we'll have the proposals in next Friday, if maybe everyone, sends you their top 3 questions or something like that. And then we solidify a list of questions at the board meeting on the 18th. And then you guys, I don't know, I'm just trying to think about how to, utilize the time we have. But if we feel like that's a already packed agenda and this would add too much, then we can set up another meeting.
We're working on the agenda. Dr. Rosas and I actually talked briefly this morning about it. I think that there are a number of things on there. I do think our reopening is going to obviously monopolize the conversation again. I kind of feel like we are a little pretty effective and efficient in these really short meetings right here. So we can do both. The timing of it is that we issue this next Friday will be the deadline. So by next Friday afternoon, everybody will get copies of the RFPs that have been submitted. And then, theoretically, we would not be able to have another meeting until at least 3 days for us, because we want to post that, unless we decide, like right now, hey, let's just have a quick meeting Saturday, next Saturday. And we could post that because we'd all have the RFPs. Everybody could take a look at them that night or whatever, and we can come together that Saturday and talk about it. The next board meeting is the 18th, so there's a roughly a little less than a week by the time we get the proposals and our next board meeting.
Well, and trustee which trustee am I talking to? I apologize. We were already promising parents that we were going to be talking safety. Promised Mita as well, that we would be talking safety about returning to school, and with the idea that we had set a date for elementary to return March 1st. I do feel that that is going to be minimally dominating the conversation until probably about at least 11:30 at night would be my guess. And then I know that if just myself putting anything past that involves a whole lot of thinking, I think that's where we start to get diminishing returns amongst ourselves. And a superintendent search, and even if we're reviewing proposals to, basically run that executive search, I think that's way too important of a thing to leave off until after midnight. So one of the things I do think that if we were to even schedule something, if not for Saturday, even if it's for Monday or something after we receive the proposals, and Monday or Tuesday even, we'll have the weekend to review the proposals, and then we can come again and come up with questions if that works. But I don't think we should be leaving it till the next board meeting or closer to that, because that's where our focus is going to be, is reopening.
Okay. So I'll propose, I know that these meetings, and we're meeting, like Trustee Warren, you said, hey, have we ever left? Because when we first came on, right, we just had a meeting last night. I would have proposed that we basically, issue the RFP. Well, we already voted to issue the RFP. And then we just come back for a really quick, short meeting next Saturday. And that's, basically a day of us all receiving the proposals. And then we can decide, okay, are we going to interview them all? And who's going to interview them? Or is it the ad hoc committee, or is it everybody? And then basically, all right, if there are questions, we can start talking about questions that we'd want to ask. If it's not, if the ad hoc committee is the one who's going to be doing the interviews. If the whole board is doing the interviews, then I don't think, we can talk about the questions for sure, but it's not necessarily as pertinent, I suppose. you guys okay with that? Or
Just, that's fine with me, except for, I'm just wondering, do folks have availability Monday over doing it like on the weekend? If not, it's totally fine. It's just throwing out there that Monday would be much easier for me.
Me
Sure.
too.
Okay, that's fine. Why don't we do that? Do you want, we can do a Monday. It's just a timing issue. I don't know, do you guys prefer the afternoon? I mean, it's, or morning, whatever you guys want to do. Do we want to actually talk about the actual time now? Because then we have something, and Dr. Roses has something where she has a week and a half before we actually have to
It would
advertise.
help
I mean,
if
not,
I have the date and time.
yes, okay, thank you. So Monday, so we'll come back Monday, the 15th, actually that's President's Day weekend. Do you guys want to do that? Or do you want to do the Tuesday?
That's still
I
fine.
may
with
not
me
have
to do.
staff to run the meeting on Monday, President's Day 15th.
Tuesday
So
works
then
for
we should
me.
do Tuesday.
Okay. Morning, afternoon, whatever you guys want.
My
Anytime works for me.
I was going to say my Tuesday morning works best. I'm available at least until 3. So which is, I guess, pretty much all day Tuesday, but
Morning is good for me too.
Morning. Trustee Corzo, is that okay? Tuesday morning?
We're talking 9th,
Tuesday morning on the 16th.
16th. Okay. Tuesday morning, you said, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that should be fine. That's fine.
Okay. Dr. Rose, is there a particular time that there's more availability for staff to help us? Or
No, you tell us Tuesday morning, we're all on board. Tuesday, February 16th, at what time?
does anyone want to propose a time?
10 a.m.
10 a.m. Okay.
Tuesday, February 16th at 10 a.m. Please reiterate what you wanted to complete. You wanted to review the proposals, determine who would be doing the interviews, and discuss questions. Were those
Discuss
the
both,
3
yeah.
things?
Yeah.
Okay. I have what I need to post.
Great. Do you guys, we are moving, which is great. I think once we get this out, I think it will be really good. We are moving. I am still a little concerned about our schedule and making sure that we have enough time for the community to provide input, but I think as long as we keep on moving, we'll be good. So anything else? You guys good? Okay. We need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
1 second.
Thank you, Trustee Watkins and Trustee Proctor. Roll call vote, Trustee Corzo,
Yes.
Trustee Proctor,
Yes.
Trustee Warren,
yes.
and Trustee Watkins.
Yes.
And I will vote yes as well. Okay, thanks guys for the quick meeting, and we will issue this RFP and get this out. Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.